listening to the Booktrospective Podcast, a podcast for all types of books. And even though we read all types of books across all different types of genres, we want to give a disclaimer. Many of our books and a lot of our content sometimes is intended for mature audiences. And we don't believe in censorship, but we do want our listeners to have the opportunity to decide if our episode or podcast is good for them. So with that, let's get into the episode. Hey, it's Dominique.
And Keely.
And you're listening to Booktrospective. And this week we are reviewing Can't Get Enough by Kennedy Ryan. But first, Keely, how's your week?
My week has been okay. Other than my dog, Evie, escaping the yard the other day has been pretty uneventful. Apparently there was like a little hole.
Of course.
In the gate, because the gate's not, it's jank. We got it like bungee corded and yeah. So anyways, my mom had went out to pick up the kids from school and she was like, I can't really do anything about it right now.
Yeah.
But so my grandma was home by herself. She was like, I'll watch out the window, see if she actually was outside. And apparently somebody came while my mom was gone and knocked on the door. My grandma went up there and she was like, do you guys have a little dog? And my grandma was like, yes. She was like, well, I think it's over there in the yard. And apparently my grandma yelled for her and she ended up coming inside. But I don't know if she yelled at her or what, but she was just sitting in, we call it quarantine, but it's just a little gated off area. But she was sitting in there. She could have gotten out, but my mom said that she was just sitting there like she was in trouble. And we're like, yeah. You are.
You are. Evie. Shame. Well, I was chasing a chicken today, so there's that. I got 2 more chickens for my other chicken. So I have 4 chickens already, and they all have chicken names. So we have Chicken Nugget, Chicken Tender, Alfreda for Alfredo, and Buffy for Buffalo Wild Wings. So then I wanted 2 like colorful egg layers. So I got one that lays like either blue or green, and then I have one that like lays these like really deep chocolate eggs. They're both like, they're considered pullets before they are like old enough to lay eggs. Mm-hmm. They're like 6 to 10 weeks. Anyways, so apparently like there's like a whole thing when you like introduce new chickens, and they're like, basically, the old chickens are attacking my baby chickens, and they have to, like, establish pecking order, and I don't know. And some people are like, yeah.
Pecking order.
Yeah, I know. And some are like, yeah, I've had mine, like, over here for, like, a month. I'm like, a month? Like, I need them to get it together. So I've, like, tried to put them in there twice, and no. So this morning, I tried again. It was, like, slightly better, because they were, like, out of sight, out of mind a little bit, but then if they saw them, they would do it again, versus, like, yesterday, they were, like, and they, like, pounced on them. And they're, like, literally less than half of their size, and there's, like, these big old fat chickens, hens, like, and they're, like, pecking at them, and I'm like, what? And I'm spraying them with, like, a water bottle. Like, stop doing that.
I was just giggling when I saw
Everyone was like cracking up. They're like, I don't know if it's funny that you named your chicken Nugget or if you are spraying them with water. It was a water vinegar mix because it's supposed to like mess with their like sense of smell, and like it's not. But anyway, so like I have like this dog cage that I'm keeping the chickens in, and I like had it like inside the coop so they could like see them and like recognize them, whatever. So then I have like these 2 little petrified chickens, and they're black. Like both of them are like black feathers. So then this morning, like while that was all occurring, one of them escaped in my yard, and like I have like it's fenced off, but there's like weeds and stuff, whatever. So like she gets off or whatever, and I cannot find her. And Josh is like, I think she like went this way. I'm like, Josh, I didn't see her go anywhere. So I'm like cutting down like weeds, and like I literally have to go to my doctor appointment. I don't have time. And then Josh like gets the leaf blower, and like I'm like, okay, she can't be over there. Like she's not making a sound. So then finally like there's like part of the tree that fell down. We didn't see it because it's under there. And so like I'm like, what about? And I start moving. He's like, oh, and she literally was in there, like just like not moving or making a sound. And then as soon as he goes, she's like, bah, 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 bah. And I'm like, oh my God.
Hide and seek.
Yeah, and it doesn't help because like her feathers are black, so I'm like, you really couldn't see her. And I'm like hoping she didn't get next door because the neighbors have chickens too, and theirs were all put up. But I'm like, I went to the front yard. I'm like, well, if anybody sees a chicken, like it's mine. And I'm like, this is a $20 chicken. And I'm like, I can't lose you. So before I came here, I was like spraying down like all the poop from the dog cage, which I just decided like I just took the bottom out of the cage. And so I'm like, well, now you can just poop in the grass. And they can, and I just move it around. And I put like a big stick. So like, I'm like, well, if this is going to be your home for a while, like I'll make it a little like homier, and I put their food and stuff in there. But, oh, the life of a chicken mom. I don't know why I did this. So anyways, that's that. I think that's all. I think that was it.
Sounds like an interesting morning.
And then my house is still under construction. So whatever. Okay, so do you have a quirky question this time?
Oh, yeah. Give me just a second to...
We're still getting used to our new things.
Let's see.
I forgot my phone's name.
Where did I put those?
That drink is sour too.
Is it really?
Yeah, like it's good, but like it's sour. I like it. Why am I using this? But I have a mouse. I'm insane. I'm scared.
I'm like, I have 2 questions that are good ones, but okay. Which trope from like romance trope would you never want to live through in real life?
I'm just gonna pull up a list. Okay, let's see. I actually like all of these. So I need a good list because I'm like, I like all of those that just popped up. Okay, let's see.
I mean, we all know that you hate the miscommunication trope.
I do. But I feel like that's not, well, I guess that's kind of romance, but I do hate that. Okay. Okay. I'm going to say a bully romance because I'm not good with, anything bully, or also, like, this is kind of like one TikToks when I see people, like, couples that prank each other. Like, that's too much for me. Like, I just can't. Like, because it's going to go bad. Like, we're going to bump heads. Like, so a bully romance, yeah, like, I like a dark romance, but, like, you got to be nice to me. Like, you can be mean to everybody else.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot be mean to me. Like, I don't like that. Mm-mm.
Mine somewhat goes off of that, and it's, in general, probably, and in real life, and enemies to lovers, I would not want to go through.
That is stressful.
Like, because if we hate each other, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I feel like that also kind of, especially if it's like a bully situation, like, if you're mean to me, I don't know that's not healthy.
That is very toxic.
Yeah.
Very, very toxic. So, yeah, no. That one I can't do.
Yeah.
Okay. So, talking about romance, do you want to give us the blurb of our book?
I do. Let me whet my palate. Hendrix Barry lives a fabulous life. She has phenomenal friends, a loving family, and a thriving business that places her in the entertainment industry's rare. I want to start that over again. Rarefied. Did not know that was a word. Okay.
Like it, but okay.
Hendrix Barry lives a fabulous life. She has phenomenal friends, a loving family, and a thriving business that places her in the entertainment industry's rarefied air. Your vision board? She's probably living it. She's a woman with goals, dreams, ambitions, always striving upwards. And in the midst of everything, she's facing her toughest challenge, caring for an aging parent. Who has time for romance? From her experience, there's a low ROI on relationships. She hasn't met the man who can keep up with her anyway, until him. Tech mogul Maverick Bell is a dilemma wrapped in exquisitely tailored suit and knee-melting charm. From their first charged glance at the summer's hottest party, Hendrick feels like she's met her match, only it can't be him. Mav may be the first to make her feel this seen and desired and appreciated, but he's the last one she can have. Forbidden fruit is the juiciest, and this man is off limits if she plans to stay the course she set for herself. But when Maverick gives chase, pursuing her, spoiling her, understanding her, it is time to let herself have something more. Ooh.
So, if you could describe this book in one word.
I would say, I know what I have in mind, but like trying to find the right word. Appreciated.
That's a good one. I'm actually cheating. I have an acronym, which is DINK, because it's a dual income, no kids. I guess there is a kid, but she's grown, so like that doesn't really count. So yeah, it's a DINK. Okay, so briefly before we talk about the book, we'll talk about Miss Kennedy Ryan, who really doesn't need an introduction at this point. Kennedy Ryan is an American romance novelist. She was the first Black winner of the Rita Award, which was for romantic fiction. She's an activist. She is the founder of a nonprofit for autism awareness, which I believe her son has autism. Is a person with autism. Doesn't she have a family member? I feel like she has a family member that's... I feel like in... yeah, personal experiences by her son. Okay, yeah, okay. She is most known for the Skyland series here, which this book is the third and final installment of that series. But yeah, I mean, she's just... Amazing. And before I let go... Maybe it's gonna go to TV. I don't know.
I've heard that it
says in development at Peacock with Universal Television. So okay, so can't get enough. What? Oh, so just a general like summary. Spoiler free. We are reintroduced to Hendrix, so we meet Hendrix in the first two of the series books. She is the like rich auntie with no kids, and she works like in celebrityism basically because she's kind of like a agent, kind of like that's just kind of, is that what it is?
Yeah, kind of like a talent manager or whatever.
Yeah, and so I would whatever that requires of her is what she does. Obviously we're in Atlanta and you know she's doing that, but her mom has Alzheimer's, so this book journeys through like dealing with a parent who has that, but also like being super busy and trying to like get your life in order, you know, while managing that and like not having to sacrifice that. And then we're introduced to Maverick, who is hot, rich, all the things, checks all the boxes, very like arrogant in like the best way, like for our lead male characters. But they are introduced through a mutual who is his ex-fiance and her coworker. So very, very touchy area, and of course, like, sparks are flying, but of course, like, we want them to get together, like, oh well. So, of course, we have, like, some sneaking around. Maverick is a man who gets what he wants, whatever, and he's, like, in the process of purchasing a basketball team that his father played on, but basically, like, because he's Black, like, they never would give him like a coach position there, like they basically mistreated him. So his whole thing is like, I have this money, like I'm gonna show up and like take over. So of course, like we have romance going on, it gets steamy, but always, you know, we're gonna have some conflict. There's romance, so as I always say, like we can almost always guarantee on these two to end up together in the end, without that being a complete spoiler. But yeah, that's just kind of the general gist of this book. This book came out this year in June.
Yeah, I believe so.
It was May or June. I think it's June.
One of those.
I think it was June. Anyways, it came out earlier, like a couple months ago. So, I personally, like, I like Hendrix, but, like, she wasn't, like, my favorite of the trio. But, like, I really like this book. I think I 5-starred maybe all three of these books. I don't know, but I really enjoyed this book. I actually connected a lot with this book. So, yeah. No.
Yeah.
Okay. So, if you have not read this... Oh, wait. Nope. Are there triggers?
Oh, I'm sure there are. Just because there's like triggers and everything.
Everything has a trigger.
If you've gotten this far into the series and don't know.
There is. We appreciate.
Grief, death of a parent, racism, mental illness. Yeah.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, if you have not read this book and you do not wish to be spoiled, this is your warning to pause here and come back later. Otherwise, we will get into this book. Okay. So this is a dual POV.
Yes.
I'm like, yes. So again, as you guys know, I'm not taking notes, so this is off the fly, and we'll talk about things as we go. I'm trying to remember how it does it open up at the party where they meet.
I can't
remember, but we'll start there. That's very close to the beginning. So essentially, Hendrix is what's her client's name? I don't remember what her client's name is. Keely's looking it up. So Hendrix has a client who is like going to be on a TV show, which it seems kind of like a reality TV show, kind of like not like Bad Girls Club, but like not like Love and Hip Hop, but like along those lines. Like it seems like that. And I can't remember, is she like I think she's a music artist, right?
Yes.
I think so. I have no idea what that girl's name is though. I'm like completely blank. But anyways, so she is like kind of teamed up. You know what? I don't know anybody's names but those two. So Keely's gonna have to help me. So she is teamed up with another, like a TV producer. Her name starts with a Z, right? What are these people's names? Who are the characters?
I'm like, I read it so long ago, I can't remember anything. Well, I mean, I remember the storyline in and of itself, but...
Let's see if I can find a super summary, because I'm like, I don't know anybody's names. So there's that.
Oh, no. It starts with her going home to her mom's house.
Oh, it starts there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because she walks in and her mom's not there.
Oh,
and there's stuff burning on the stove.
Okay, well, I found the super summary. So, here we are. Okay. Chapter summaries.
Chapel, is that what her name is?
That sounds familiar. Okay.
And Zeri?
Something like that.
It's Z-E-R-E. I don't know.
I feel like, they said it, but I feel like maybe Zeri's not right. Maybe? I don't know. Z. We'll just go with that. All right. So, okay. So, so we actually open with a prologue, which is Hendrix at home, and she finds her mother's neighbor looking for her because her mom has gone missing. She ends up getting returned by the police, which apparently this has been happening because her mom was alone. Her father actually passed away some years ago, and basically, like, Hendrix is having to come to terms with the fact that her mom has Alzheimer's. So we open up in present day, and I think it's Zaire.
I think
Yeah,
so.
I was gonna say I think it's Zaire. That's the way they pronounce it. So Hendrix has a client whose name is Chapel, and she's, I don't know, again, like they're doing some form of television show. It gives me like Love and Hip Hop, something like that. And Zaire is like the producer. She's working on the show with them. And Zaire is engaged to Maverick Bell, who is like rich. And he like basically like made an app or whatever and sold it and like got rich off of that. But what we don't know, or what the public doesn't know, is that they actually broke up like a month or so ago, Maverick and Zaire. But like it's her birthday, so Maverick is like, we'll do this, and then like we'll announce it to the public because they're both like famous, so you know it's a big deal. Of course, Maverick sees Hendrix sees Maverick, sparks are flying, and they also have like genuine conversation because Maverick, his grandfather had Alzheimer's, and then his mom passed very shortly after his grandfather, which basically seemed like she passed from like a broken heart. Like that's essentially what it seems like. So they kind of bond over that. We also like, so if you've read the series, which you should have, Hendrix doesn't want no kids. Like she's rich auntie, and that's that. But Maverick actually has an older daughter who's like in college, and one of the reasons that him and Zaire are breaking up is because like she knew going in like he didn't want any more kids, and she now wants kids, and that's not fair, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. So of course, like, they have a little moment, but Hendrix is very much like this girl, like, I'm working with, I cannot, like, there's nothing going on here, which I get, because I'm very much of, like, I don't want to talk to anybody who is, like anywhere, like, I have stopped talking to a guy because, like, I'm in a friend group with someone who was, like, dated them or whatever, but, like, even if, like, we're not, it's just weird, so, like, I get it very much, especially, like, with work, like, it's messy, and, of course, Hendrix's whole thing is, like, trying to get her client off, you know, whatever. So going ahead. So, of course, this takes place in Atlanta. Maverick actually lives in Malibu, California with his dad. Like, they live, like, on the same, like, beach. Like, they're rich. Whatever. And Maverick, again, is trying to purchase the Las Vegas Vipers, which is, like, his dad's old team. It's owned by, like, an old, like, white family, and they're pretty racist. And, like, they have kept Maverick's dad out of, like, coach positions and all this stuff. So, like, that's why Maverick's, like, real serious about getting this team. So, he actually, though, finds a way to, like, get in with Hendrix again, because Hendrix also is part of this Aspire Fund, which is for black entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs to, like, pitch their things, like, get funding, all of those kind of things. And so he's, like, you know, he wants to invest in that. And Hendrix is kind of like, do you? Like, but he really does. Like, he's actually interested in that. Have Skipper and the other guy already met at that point? Because I love that, like, side
No,
thing.
so they met at the
Aspire thing.
at the birthday.
At
No,
theirs?
they did not. No,
They weren't there.
they met at the next.
The Aspire thing.
Yes.
Okay. So Hendrix is basically kind of like, she's gonna, like, stay away from Maverick because she doesn't want to cross that boundary. But her Aspire Fund, and she does that with, like, 2 other friends, is having, like, a showcase where, like, people who have already, like, gotten their, like, funding, like, come and, like, show how they've been successful, blah, 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 blah. Which, okay, so Maverick pops up there, but there's, like, these 2 other characters, which is Skipper, which is her assistant, and then, what is his, like, assistant's name?
I feel like it's something different.
It is
Skipper, and I literally just saw it. Bolt.
That's what it is.
Yes.
Yeah, so, like, that is, like, enemies. They're not really enemies because they didn't know each other, but, like, they're like, oh, you're ugly. He's like, oh, you're ugly. And then they come back and, like, they hooked up. It's like, and they're like, Hendrix and Maverick are both like, what is going on? Like, they're like the tie's messed up, and, like, Bolt's, like, very, like, put together, like, whatever, like, nothing, like, ruffles his feathers except for, like, Skipper. Like, she gets under his skin real bad. So while, like, all of this, like, so they have this event and all that's good. Obviously we get little, like, cameos from Soledad and Yasmin during this story. But Hendrix, so kind of jumping back to the prologue, her aunt, who is her mom's older sister, like, agreed to, like, kind of take care of her. Because obviously Hendrix's life is in Atlanta, and her mom does not want to leave her home. Like, it's her home that she had with her husband, obviously, and also, like, with dementia, it's really hard to, like, just uproot somebody and do all that. So her Aunt Geneva is, like, living with her, but her aunt needs to have a hysterectomy, and so she won't be able to take care of her, like, during that time. So Hendrix is like, oh, like, no big deal, like, I'll come and work remote, like, I'll come and stay for a couple weeks and, like, look after you guys. But again, like, this is something, like, Hendrix is kind of, like, working through. So Hendrix, I love this part too. They go to a Korean bathhouse and they're, like, naked, and then, like, they're trying to ask her about, like, Zaire and the whole Maverick thing, and they're like, can I put some clothes on, like, while we talk about this? Like, I can't talk about this with my butt out. So, like, they're kind of just, like, talking, but they do, like, Soledad and Yasmin are kind of like, yeah, you should probably, like, protect your, like, business thing, like, you know, it's never worth, like, a man is not worth, like, ruining your endeavors. And Hendrix is very, like, much like, I'm an independent boss woman, like, I will not choose a man over myself. Let's see. So I kind of, like, jumped around a little bit, but Hendrix decides to, like, be a woman about it and, like, reach out to Zaire and, like, hey, just so you know, like, Maverick is gonna, like, be at this thing. Like, I just don't want you to, like, see us somewhere and be like, what's going on? And because, like, Zara's like publicly like distraught about this like breakup, even though it's been like already like a month at the time when it's announced, but whatever. So like Zara's very much like skinny, petite, model, thin, whatever. Hendrix is like darker skin, voluptuous, all those things. So like Zara's basically like, when she calls, she's like, oh, I mean, like, I wouldn't be worried about him being there, like, because you're not his type.
Excuse me?
Like, I'm sorry. And Hendrix is kind of like, okay, girl, like, whatever, because he definitely seems interested, but okay. But in the meantime, her and Maverick start like kind of texting, and like, you know, they're building a little whatever. So also when Maverick comes into town, like they talk more about like the Alzheimer's thing because he has like that connection. So he like tries to give Hendrix like support, like as a friend, like giving her resources to like help like work through it or whatever. But she is still like trying to like cold shoulder him, like, you know, like, no, I don't want to do that. So
I mean, I want to do that, but I can't.
She wants
do
to,
that.
but she can't do that. Like, she's trying to be good, and he is like testing her boundaries. But of course, like, she ends up going to a basketball game with Chapel. Like, and so her whole thing is like trying to get Chapel like seen. So like they go to like all these nice events. So she ends up at a basketball game. Of course, it's a basketball game against the Vipers, and of course Maverick is there. He's got like a box. So he's like, oh, like come into my box. Okay. So they go to the box, and guess who's with her? Skipper. And guess who's with him? Bolt. And guess what they do? They run off again and disappear.
After, you know, verbally
assaulting each other.
Yeah.
So
it's like, I hate you more, and then proceeds to make out.
I still hate you. I love them. Like, they're like perfect side characters.
Yeah.
Let's see. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. So, I thought you were going to cough. I was like,
no.
Okay. So, obviously, like, they start talking again. And Maverick, like, talks about... How did this... Oh, okay. So, somehow they get on the topic of, like, the Aspire Fund again. And, like, there's one of her clients has, like, a cannabis fund or whatever. And Maverick also has like some kind of connections or something. Anyway, something in Colorado. So he's like, oh, like you and your other two partners, like from the Aspire Fund, should like come out to Colorado. Like I can show you, like meet a cannabis. Oh, it's a cannabis grower that he invested in.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, like, you know, you could come like see how everything goes, like strictly business. But whatever. So she like is like, I don't know. She'll think about it. Meanwhile, when Skipper comes back from her rendezvous with Bolt, she like is kind of like sad because she kind of feels like regret. Like she's like, why do I keep sleeping with this man who like obviously don't like me? Like, which obviously he does like you,
right?
But whatever. So then like Maverick, like he like checks in with his daughter. His daughter is supposed to like be at college, but she's in Ghana. And she's basically like, I want to do real estate. And he's like, I'm sorry, what? And she's like, Dad, you didn't like go right to college or whatever. Like she's like, you did it without that. And I think her mom is there too.
Yeah.
And like they don't have like any like issues, but whatever. Like, you know, they're not fighting, but whatever. So they co-parent, but she's an adult too, so she's like, it's fine. So Hendrix ends up going back home to visit her mom and her aunt. And like she literally like her mom like snaps, like cussing at her aunt, doing all kinds of things, and her aunt's like, you know, it's fine, like this is like normal, but that really upsets Hendrix. So like, you know, she's kind of getting settled in. She ends up talking to her like partners about the Colorado trip, and they all think it's a good idea. So like she tells Maverick like they'll go, and then later, which is really sad, she finds her mom and she's like waiting for her husband to come home, who obviously is passed. So like the way that her dad passed, like, is her mom would ask for, I think it's butter pecan ice cream, and he like went out to get it and got in a car wreck and never came home. So like her mom is sitting there like, oh, like I sent him out to get ice cream like a long time ago, like he's not back. Well, Hendrix, this is her first time encountering this, so she's like, Mom, like Dad's gone or whatever, and like she has to like go through that whole thing with her, and she like of course she starts to crying because she doesn't remember all that, and like Hendrix is just like, I don't know what to do, because Like, am I gonna have to do that like over and over again and keep telling her that he died until she like feels very guilty? Like, Hendrix is just, it's a mess, and rightfully so. So during this time, because Hendrix has a lot going on, she's not really like talking to Maverick, and he ends up just like calling her, and he can kind of like figure out that like something's going on with her mom, and so he like really tries to like be like a friend and give like actual support for it, and he ends up inviting her to California because Maverick. Every time I'm waiting for the day that like there is not an ambulance when we're in
right.
But anyway, so Maverick, which is like, you know, very not stereotypical, is a surfer. He's a black surfer. We love.
Yeah.
And so he's like, oh, you should come to California. Like, I'll teach you how to surf. She's like, I don't know, because I keep trying to keep my boundaries up with you. But whatever. So she does agree, though, to go to the Colorado trip. So at least she's going to do that. So, of course, he flies them private plane to Colorado. The other ladies, which are Nelly and Kashan, like, they love him. And, like, on the plane, he, like, sits next to Hendrix. They talk about, like, her not wanting to have children, and he admits that that's basically why him and Zara broke up, because she now wants children and he doesn't. They talk about her mom, and, like, he, like, comforts her, like, wipes her cheek. And they end up watching a show together because Maverick had, like, told her about it, and I don't know if it's like if they're African, because they have like a saying in the show, or if it's just something different, but like they end up having like this like cute phrase like where they say something from the show that means like something.
Oh yeah,
I can't remember what it said. It'll probably pop up in here.
Was it like Star Trek or something? I feel like
it's some, yeah, it's, I don't know, I haven't heard of it. It's called Top Boy, but I don't think it's real.
Oh, it's like a BBC. It's British.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yep. So they go to Colorado. Like, unfortunately, nothing happens there. I was like, oh, this is going to be it. No!
I clicked the wrong button.
But anyway, so nothing happens, but like it all goes well. They see that, you know, everything's good there, whatever. And then, like, when it's time to go, like, Maverick ends up staying in Colorado, and so Hendrix was, like, a little upset. Like, what do you mean you're not gonna fly? Because she was like, oh, we can watch the show on the flight back, and he's like, actually, like, I'm not. But he's like, you know, I'm gonna call you later this week. Okay. So back in Atlanta, Hendrix goes and visits, like, Soledad and Yasmin again, and she gets a text from Maverick, so she's, like, smiling and cheesing, and they're like, girl, why are you smiling and cheesing? And she basically kind of, like, admits, and the girls are kind of like, that does kind of break girl code. Just like, it's a messy situation. And then, like, Hendrix kind of feels lonely because obviously, like, Yasmin has, what's his name? I can't remember.
Yasmin has Josiah.
And Soledad has
Jonah.
I knew they were both J's. So, like, they're there, and then, like, the kids are there, and she's kind of, like, feeling like an odd man out, which, like, normally she doesn't feel that way, but, like, she is. So she, like, leaves. She texts Maverick, and, like, they're gonna go home and, like, watch TV, like, over the phone, basically. So then, like, Hendrix is having, like, her, like, everything day, like, when you wash your hair, you shave your legs, you shave your whole body, like, you do your skincare, like, all those things, right? She's, like, chilling at home, and, like, she's, like, scrolling on the internet or whatever. So Zara has a new man, so she's like, oh, like, she really should be, like, cool or whatever, like, she should move on, she's got a new man. And then Maverick shows up. He's like, by the way, I'm in Atlanta, like, let me see you. And she's like, boy, I got, like, a towel in my head, like, no. But of course she ends up with him. So, like, she, like, gets dressed, and he's like, let's go get something to eat, and you'll never guess where she takes him. The Waffle House. Can you imagine? Like, I'm like, okay. So they go to the Waffle House, and it's just, you know, the Waffle House is very Atlanta. Like, that's just, it is. So they start talking about Zara, because Zara has a birthday party coming up, which Hendrix is invited to, and so is Maverick. And they're like, you know, like, should we go? And Maverick's like, oh, I'm not gonna go, whatever. And, like, Hendrix is being real nice. Like, she's taking the driver food, too, like, making sure that, you know, he's all cared for. And then, like, Maverick starts referring to Hendrix as, like, my girl. Love. Okay, so of course after Waffle House, Maverick is like, "Let me come up." Hendrix is like, "No," like no nightcap, but he ends up getting upstairs. So like they're talking, and like she's like, "Do you want a drink?" He's like, "No, like I actually want to talk about us." I love that because I hate miscommunication, and like that does not exist with Maverick. Like he is like very much like, I love that. Like, no, I'm talking about this relationship that I want to have. Like I want you. And I don't care about Zaire, and I think that's dumb. And like I love the directness of it. So so he basically tells her that. Hendrix is like, no, I want to be professional, like whatever. Things get a little heated, and they start making out. So there's that. But yeah, so he ends up leaving, and he's like basically like, yeah, this is just getting started. I'm not going anywhere. So. Of course, Hendrix gets ready to go to Zaire's party, and like somebody rings the doorbell, and literally her entire like downstairs apartment is like filled with champagne roses, and the card says "Just getting started, gorgeous."
Love that.
I love a rich man. And of course, the Soledad's there because she's helping, so she's basically like gonna tell her like, yeah, okay, this is what's going on, and basically Soledad is like, I understand like that's a messy situation, however. You shouldn't throw away like your chance at happiness out of fear. And she's like basically like, I think you should go for it. You know, like I think it's time for you to take that chance on love, basically. So Maverick is like, he also is deciding that he's going to go to Zaire's party. So he is like he's finalizing. He made sure all the roses or whatever got delivered, and Bolt's kind of like what's up with you and like Hendrix? Like why are you so like after this girl or whatever? And Maverick's like, you need to mind your business, basically. And he starts like teasing Bolt about like him and Skipper, which like you need to worry about that. Don't be worried about what I got going on over here. So Zaire ends up calling Maverick and is like, you know, asking if he's come to the birthday party. She basically is like, hey, like Hendrix will be here, like my new man will be here, blah, 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 blah. Maverick is like, I'm going because Hendrix is going. I don't care nothing about Zaire or her new man. Like he doesn't care. So they go to the birthday party. Zaire, by the way, is 40. Like, so like I love that these characters are older too.
Yeah.
So they held this birthday party. Of course, like Hendrix gets there. She looks good or whatever. Like she's got like this like butt length like wig on, and like she takes Chapel with her. She's like sitting next to Zaire, and like Maverick comes in and is like looking right at her. Like she's like, could you be like a little more like discreet? But of course he couldn't. And basically like Chapel's like, you know, Chapel's a party girl. She's like done found like 2 people to hook up with. Like she's like, I'm leaving with them. So Hendrix is like, okay, good. Like I'm gonna go. But Maverick basically like finds her hiding in the coat room, and yeah, they finally hook up, and it's nice, and yeah, and it's like the whole like it's kind of voyeurism. Like we're like, okay, yeah, yeah. So that was great. Anyways, so after that, like Hendrix is like super guilty because she's like, I don't know why I did that. I don't know. And Maverick like shows up at her house because like they basically the party's in New York, but they fly back. There's a lot of flying in this book. So he shows up. He's got like roses. He's got some whiskey. He's like, I'm here to negotiate our future. He gives like this whole like speech about like how he wants a partner. He's like, let's just like be good to each other. Like let's just do it or whatever. And Hendrix is finally agreeing. She's like, she tells him why. Like she's like, I never want to sacrifice my goals for a man, but she doesn't feel like she's making a sacrifice. So of course, they have sex again. Love that. And Hendrix loves this man. She don't want to admit it, but she is. So like they start deciding like, you know, the next morning they're like, okay, we're exclusive. They're like, we're going to tell Zaire. And they think that Hendrix would be the better one of the 2 to tell her. And so then Maverick is like, you know, you should come out to Malibu and stay with me. Hendrix is kind of worried because she's like, I think it's moving too fast. So she calls like Soledad and Yasmin, and like they see Maverick. Everything's like cute. All the friends are like happy for her, and they want her to go to Malibu, and so she agrees. So let's see. So she agrees to go on the trip, but she basically says they can't have sex while they're on the trip. I feel for you, Mav. I do. But then she was like, I'm just kidding. And so he's like, okay. Because he was like, what? Like, we just started this? Oh, what's going on? So before the trip, you know, she has to go back to work. She tells Skipper, like, about the relationship. And she ends up calling Zaire, who is in Paris with her new man, by the way. All these things. Does that go well? Absolutely not. Zara's like, oh, like, you basically, like, you're not even his type. Like, I wanted to build a family with that man. Like, like, she is pissed. And she's like, yeah, I don't think we can work together anymore. And hangs up. So Hendrix calls Maverick, and he's like, yeah, I don't care about her being mad. Like, we knew that could be a possibility. Like, it's cool, whatever. So of course Zara calls Maverick afterwards, and like starts going off, and he's like, whoa, like, like, he's got Hendrix back like 10,001%. He's like, you literally are on vacation with your man. Why are you talking to me? And she again is like, Hendrix isn't my type. How could you even be dating her? And of course, like, Maverick is again defending her. He's like, no, you and me are the incompatible ones. And like, she like breaks down, like, crying and like all these things or whatever. But he's still like, yeah, this is my decision. I want to be with her, X, Y, and Z. So she goes up to Malibu. Hendrix goes to Malibu with him. Super nice. Everything about that trip is great. Like, there's not a lot to it except for, like, she meets his dad. Like, there's a chef. She's gonna go, like, surfing. I don't know. It's like the perfect trip. I'm jealous, honestly. Like, take me to Malibu. I see. I'm not good at these books because I'm telling you, as soon as a man was like, "Oh, do you want to?" Yes. I want to what? I don't know. Don't finish that. Don't even finish the sentence. Okay. So, anyway, so after that trip, Hendrix ends up going back home, and she finds her mom, like, cooking, which she's like, at first she's like, oh, this is great. And then she tastes it, and, like, her mom is messing up, like, the salt for, like, baking soda, so, like, it's not good. And, like, her mom gets really upset and, like, goes to her room. And, like, her aunt is, like, recovering from her hysterectomy now. So she is, like, you know, her aunt's like, yeah, I normally, like, try to watch her or whatever and make sure. You know, Hendrix obviously doesn't know these things. So they also have, like, some church, like, people that her aunt has, like, gotten really close with. So they are, like, coming by, dropping off food. And she finds her mom later, like, in her room, like, she's thrown up. She is very sick. And she's like, what is wrong? And her mom's like, oh my God, this was so hard. Her mom is like crying, and she's like, my head hurts. She's like, I feel terrible, but I didn't want to bother you. I don't want to be a burden. And they end up, like, she ends up going to the hospital, and her mom has high blood pressure. She has hypertension. And Hendrix is pissed because they have been keeping that from her. And so, like, when she gets to the hospital too, they're like, they basically won't talk to her because her name is not on there. Like, she's not the power of attorney. The aunt is, and, like, all these things, and she's like realizing, like, I'm not in the loop, like, all this stuff is going on. And basically, you know, because her aunt was in bed, like, she couldn't make sure that her mom was taking her medicine, so her blood pressure, like, got really high and made her sick. So yeah, like, it's terrible. So she's like pissed or whatever. She calls Maverick, and she basically is like, Bolt answers and, like, he's busy or whatever, and she's like, okay, she tells him what happened, but she's like, I don't, like, want him to, like, stop doing whatever he's doing. And basically, like, the doctors end up telling her mom was, like, malnourished, she was dehydrated, and of course, like, Hendrix is just, like, torn apart by that. And Maverick literally just shows up, like, he flew right in and came to, like, be a comfort and save the day, and I love it. So her mom's fine though. She ends up going home, and so, like, Maverick ends up staying, and he's, like, working from there as well. Of course, they end up, like, in her dad's office. They have sex in her dad's office. I'm like, that's pushing it.
Just a wee bit.
That's pushing it. Yeah. And then they almost, like, get caught, and she's, like, trying to make it, like, a distraction. And so Maverick ends up going in with her mom, and they're, like, genuinely, like, getting along. And her mom is talking about how her husband had, like, a really nice flowers, like, a garden, and, like, now the garden's all neglected. So, like, Maverick starts, like, helping the mom, like, reconnect with that, and, like, restoring her garden, and, like, putting all those little pieces back together. And then Hendrix gets a call from Zara, who, like, officially is like, yeah, I thought about it, and no, like, we're not going to be able to work together. Because she was like, I don't know. Like, at first she was like, I don't know. But now she's like, no, we're not doing that. So she basically is like, Chapel can stay on the show, but, like, you can't have anything to do with it. Or Hendrix offers that. One of the two. Like, anyways, Hendrix is, like, removing herself. So, like, I don't think Hendrix was, like, very upset because she kind of expected that. So she, like, spends some more time with Maverick, but he has to go to Japan for a work trip. So while he leaves, Sol and Yasmin and their daughters actually come down and visit Hendrix. So like just having like some more like comfort, and like Sol starts like doing research on how they can make like the house safer for her mom, and they're like trying to make like change like labeling things in the cabinets. And then things get even worse. So the Aspire Fund gets hit with a discrimination lawsuit because because it is violating the Civil Rights Act of 1866 by only like supporting like black people. It's ridiculous. It's reverse racism. You know, that whole thing. So they literally even though they don't go to court for like a couple months or whatever, like they can't do anything like now with their fund. Like they can't give out funding or do anything while the trial is going on. So, of course, like Maverick is an investor in like the Aspire Fund too. So like Bolt tells him like over in Japan like what's going on, and like so Maverick's like pissed, and he calls Hendrick, and basically like Hendrick has to fly back to Atlanta to go to court, and Maverick wants to like send a lawyer to like, you know, support it or whatever, and he just wants to help. Like he doesn't want to take over, but he wants to help, and he's like, I'm gonna try to like find out what he can or whatever, and he's like gonna head back to the States. So his lawyer shows up, represents them, and they're basically saying like, this is bull, basically. But of course the judge like upholds the injunction, so like they literally cannot use any of their funding until they have a full trial. And Hendrix like just kind of puts on like a brave face, and she becomes like the face of their organization, like with the media. But literally like as they're leaving, like Maverick pulls up in an SUV, and like on camera like they have a very public embrace. Like I love it. I love it. Okay, so they end up staying like in Atlanta, and they, you know, more smut time. We love that. And Maverick finally like kind of talks about like his feelings for Hendrix, and like how deeply he feels for her. And then like the next day he like more roses, more breakfast. Like we love all of that. And they're kind of trying to discuss like what is her plans for like her mom, like, you know, because her aunt is older, like even older than her mom, and like long term, like that is not going to work out. So they're kind of trying to figure that out. So then while they're like eating breakfast, both Skipper and Bolt show up at the apartment. And like they go their separate ways. So the girls go one way, and Skipper tells Hendrix like that Bolt actually asked her on a date, but that's because like basically Maverick was like, you need to get your shit together, like quit doing whatever this is with Skipper. Like obviously you're into her, quit trying to fight it, do right. And like Skipper is like kind of like intimidated because Bolt gives me like very nerdy, like put together man. Yes. And Skipper gives me like I don't want to say she's ghetto, but she gives me like ghetto assistant. Like she gives me, if you ever watched, I know Keely hasn't watched the show, but if you ever watch Empire, and it gives me Portia, that was like Cookie's assistant, like she, like very good at her job, but like also like I'll get hit with you like real fast. And so like
there was one that I was thinking about. I'm trying to remember. What was it? Okay, so yes, I was thinking like, have you watched The Other Woman?
I have not.
That's one that I love. The Other Woman, but Nicki Minaj is an assistant in there, and it was like,
I have. Is that the one with the three?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, no, I have.
With Cameron Diaz and Skipper gives me like Nicki Minaj assistant.
As an assistant, yes. Yeah. That's definitely it. So, yeah. And I'm like, so those are like completely like polar opposites, but like opposites attract. So basically, like Hendrix is like, girl, like, what are you intimidated by? Like, you're great. And so like Bolt is basically like, no, I'm about to talk to you. So he pulls like Skipper to the side, like, let's be serious about this or whatever. And like Hendrix and Maverick are just like, oh, look at our kids. Like they're all grown up basically. So Hendrix goes back to North Carolina, which is where her mom is, and is basically she's like, you know, checking in on her mom, and they find out some interesting information for the people who filed the lawsuit. So the group is called Citizens for Equality. And they find out the financial donors that are supporting it, and one of them is, his name's Andy, and he's the current owner of the Vegas Vipers, which, so now, like, again, this is a little forced for me, because I'm like, I don't, like, in real life, I don't think this is an issue, but whatever, we have to have an issue. So she's basically like, now she's like considering like, well, Maverick is trying to buy this team. So basically like if he buys this team, he's going to be giving more money to Andy to put more money against us. That's a little bit of a stretch, but whatever. So like now she's kind of like, well, no, like the report basically is kind of like, they know about Maverick's whole deal or whatever. So they're like, well, where do his loyalties lie? Like, is it with her? Is it with the Vipers? Yada, 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 yada. So, of course, she, like, immediately reacts, doesn't think, calls Maverick, and he doesn't answer. So she, like, leaves him a voicemail and is kind of, like, pissed off. So he had actually went back to Tokyo, and, like, Bolt has, like, keep telling him all this, like, bad news or whatever. He, like, immediately calls Andy and is like, what's up? What's good? And basically Andy's like, well, now you have to decide, like, do you want your relationship or do you want this team for your daddy, basically? And Maverick's like, oh, you don't know who you're playing with. So, okay, I'm gonna let you have that one. I'm gonna let you have it. So then he hears the voicemail, calls her back, but like, it's not a good conversation. He's very hurt. Like, why are you doubting me? I'm gonna make a way. So he's basically like, I'm gonna show you better than I can tell you. And that's exactly what he does. So he's like, let's go back to the States. This is a lot of flying.
Yeah.
So like a couple of days later, she's still like in North Carolina, and she basically like finally calls Chapel and tells her like, hey, I'm not gonna be a part of the show. Like all that stuff was there because she hasn't told her. And she talks to her aunt kind of like about plans for her mom. And then she gets like a message from her partners basically saying that Maverick has publicly withdrawn his offer to purchase the Vipers. And the article also says that like they find out that Andy's daughter is the one who kind of like leaked everything because where is it, baby?
That was me.
I'm terrified. What am I looking
at? Isn't that Nessie?
Oh.
From Twilight.
That's creepy.
Yeah.
That is terrible.
I just saw it and I was like,
that is terrible.
real quick.
Okay, so basically they find out like who leaked the documents, which was Andy's like daughter, because he's like basically like a terrible person. Like his whole family doesn't really like him either. And so Hendrix is like, oh my gosh, like Maverick chose me, like what's up? And she literally was like in her dad's office. She walks out and like the whole room of like the living room is filled with the roses again. He's there. They love each other. Yada 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 yada. So we jump ahead like a week, and Maverick is getting ready to like leave, and he like shows up with a new puppy for Hendrix, who she named Sheila E, which like finger snaps. And so like, you know, because she has to be a dog mom. And basically that night she finds her mom going through the same episode again about her dad, but instead of like trying to like, because you never are supposed to try to like correct them. You don't want to say like, no, that's wrong. She just diverts her. So she's like, oh, let's watch this movie. And then her mom has like one of those very like lucid moments, which can happen. And she's referencing the Footprints in the Sand poem, which like most people know that, and you've seen the pictures from it. And it's all throughout her mom's house. And basically like her mom kind of talks about how like her fear of like losing her mind with the dementia. And Hendrix is like basically like, you know, I'm always going to be there for you. And she like holds her mom, and like, it's a very touching but like sad moment. So we jump ahead a few months, and Hendrix has like bought a house in Atlanta because she was living like in a high rise or whatever. So she buys a house for her mom and her aunt. So they are going to be moving up there. And basically because Maverick like pulled out of his deal with the Vipers, like there's all these other like NBA like team owners, and there's some other black ones too. When we meet them in the book, they're like kind of pressuring Andy, the guy, to like sell basically. So he's like basically gonna have no choice but to end up selling it to Maverick anyway. So he's gonna win in the end. And then like there's more of like how much he loves her, telling her all these things. And then we jump to a year later, and Hendrix basically started another TV show. So she's like, that didn't work out with Zare, that was fine. She decides to take on Soledad and give her like a full show, because you know she does like everything. Soledad was like became like a influencer basically overnight. And Maverick ends up buying the team, and they learn that Zare is actually pregnant and expecting a child, and they're like, okay, like we're happy for her, cool. And then at Hendrix's house, like Maverick helps her mom like replant the garden so that she can kind of have that memory of her husband, and he like gets this like personalized bench like placed in the garden for them, and then he proposes to Hendrix, and then that's it. That's it. Yep. Okay. Yep. And then he proposes, and that is the end. Yay!
So I do have to say that I loved this book. Out of the three, it's probably not my favorite. I don't know which one would be my favorite.
I know. It's hard. It's hard.
But, and though I love Maverick, I think Josiah probably has to be my favorite.
Yeah.
Book boyfriend / husband in the series. I love Josiah. But earlier you mentioned that Maverick gets what he wants. And I just wanted to add that he gets what he wants without being like over the top, like rich guy, arrogant about it. He's confident. He knows his limitations. He knows what he can do, and he's gonna do it. And I love that.
Yeah. I think like Maverick's the most like standardized of like the main male characters, because like, you know, we always get like a really rich guy, blah, 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 all those things. Like I feel like Josiah, like especially like they're more like down to earth and like normal, and they don't have like endless amount of money to like do all these we don't have like just like an endless amount of money to like do whatever, and like, you know, whatever. So that's a very like, it's a different connection. Like reading those, like, you know, you get your regular guy who doesn't have like superpowers of some kind, and so I definitely think that I like this book more than I thought I did, and that's probably why I ended up 5-starring it, because I didn't know what Hendrix's story was going to be, and I wasn't like interested in, like, I wasn't not interested, but I wasn't like, oh, I can't wait to read that one. So there's that. There's lots of moments in here that I appreciate. Like there's one time where Hendrix is eating greens, and they're talking about cha-cha, and my great grandma used to make cha-cha all the time. I actually was thinking about making some. It's like a pepper or whatever mix, you put it on greens, and yeah, it's like a old like southern thing, and she like mentions that. And then like just dealing with like Alzheimer's, like I don't have any family members thankfully who have it, but I work in healthcare, so like I see it all the time, and it is like just very difficult to deal with, and so I appreciated that topic. You know, it's hard, it's sad, and it's so sad to like lose them, and they're still there, like right in front of you. So like that was touching, but I do like the no kids, and they stood by that. Like I also, like we talked about tropes we don't like. I don't dislike a pregnancy trope, but I don't want that all the time. Like I almost don't ever want it, honestly. Like in that book, like I want like a romance to end with those two, and I want them to have time. And like if like in a later book, like 5 years later in the book, or like a sequel, like, oh, by the way, like they end up having a kid, like that's fine. But like I just like you know, like I don't know.
It can be a romance without having kids.
Yeah, and I like that they're like not gonna have any. Like I think that's great. I think they're gonna have like fun, and I'm glad like she got her person, because I know she was like happy with like being in the trio and all that, but that does get lonely when it's just you and everybody else has somebody.
I wrote down, I love that they're both in the same place. They're both successful Black people, not willing to sacrifice their goals and dreams, and not expecting the other to do so either. And I love that they both kind of so smoothly integrated into each other's lives, especially him into her life with her mom, and how gentle and caring he was with her, was just amazing to see. I love that. But I knew that I was going to like the book in the author's note. When she was, what'd you say?
After which I almost never read. What did it say?
Well, it was at the beginning.
I don't know. I couldn't remember.
But she pretty much just talks about her journey, and that I believe she said that her grandmother may have had Alzheimer's. And just all the research she did and all of that stuff. And just, it made me cry. And I was like, okay, if the author's note is making me cry, then I'm probably going to like this book.
Yeah.
But one of the people... Yes. So she said that one of the people that she interviewed was her mother because her grandma had been living with dementia for several years and her condition had continued to deteriorate.
Yeah, that's sad. It is an unforgiving disease for sure. No, yeah, I hate that. And
I love Skipper. She was my favorite side character.
I love Skipper. I just like Skipper and Bull. I just think that's so fun. Like they're just so fun, and it was unexpected. And
I wouldn't mind a little novella
of them.
Yeah.
Did any I don't think any other of the books had like that. They didn't really have a big side characters like those. Like they were had a pretty nice portion of the book.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I'm I wouldn't mind just
or maybe that'll be her next
one.
Whatever series or whatever it'll be that. So yeah. Okay. I don't know what creative rating you want to do today.
Oh. See, you remind me.
I'm looking at it. That's why I'm remembering.
My creative rating. So let me see what I rated it. I think I rated it either a 4.5 or a 5. Let's see. I rated it. I am going to rate this 4.5 champagne roses.
I was going to say champagne roses.
I was going to say beautiful black men, and I'm I don't know about the 0.5.
I gave it 5 beautiful champagne roses. So, I was literally thinking champagne roses. Champagne roses. All right, do we have reviews?
Yes, we do. So, as always, we will start out with our 5-star review.
Got to click off of our chat. That picture is hot. I opened it up and I'm like, oh God. Get away from my face.
Jesus. Okay. Okay. 5 stars. This book didn't just tell a story, it reflected one. Every chapter felt like sitting across from friends while they poured their hearts out. This whole series felt like a TV show playing out in my head. The dialogue is spot on. I felt the emotions in my soul. The representation was seamless. I laughed at the banter, and throughout chapters, I teared up. I highlighted passages. This is the kind of book you don't just read. You feel it deeply. Easily 5 stars. Oh, God. Let's see about 1. And per, the usual, percentage, it's 1% of the ratings are 1 star. It's 53. But in the terms of things, it's nothing. It's actually less than 1%. That one's too long. Okay. 1 star. This felt like a completely different Hendrix than book 1. Can't Get Enough was messy and disjointed to say the least. Hendrix sacrificed career opportunities, professional relationships, friendships. Her connection with her mother was strange and topical, considering it is pitched as a crux of the book. Going behind your client's back to hook up with her ex of 2 seconds. It wasn't actually her client. It was, at her birthday party, and to make Zaire out to be the one in the wrong. Crazy behavior And of course, he proposes at the end of the book. That is a woman's only fate. Bah. Meh.
I liked it.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So our next book is Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. We read this for our reading retreat this summer, the first IDA reading retreat. It just released this summer. That was the first book by her, Victoria. Yes, that I had read. Victoria Schwab. And so just like briefly introducing it, we refer to it as the female interview with the vampire. But it is a story about vampires. There are time jumps, so there's 3 intertwined storylines. We start in 1532, we go to 1827, and then we end up in present day 2019 in Boston. There's also like world travel. It says this is a story about hunger, a story about love, and a story about rage. So that is the next one we will cover.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Are we forgetting anything?
So real quick, I want you to see this.
Okay.
So we're talking about obviously Can't Get Enough, and I'm on, I was reading the reviews off of Goodreads. And an ad for Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil is on screen too.
Somebody's
that is crazy.
Somebody's in our brain. Somebody's always in our brain.
I went to exit out of the screen and I'm like, wait a minute, we are literally just talking about that.
They are in our brains. And that is scary. So, there's that. Okay. I think that is all for this episode. So, as always, if you enjoyed, make sure you leave us a 5-star review. And that you're following us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and YouTube at Booktrospective. And we will talk to you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.